Okay, there we go. Okay, you guys. So, if you have seen in the Facebook group, I went live and I did a vision video. You guys can go check that out, but I basically just talked about what like I envision for our team for the rest of the year and just like go check that out. Go give it a little bit of a listen. I will email out this recording and then I'll also include a link to that vision as well so that it's just all in one place. But the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, okay, well, what good is a vision? Like, if I have a vision, if nobody else, or like if other people are having a really hard time taking action to bring it to life, right? And so the more I thought about it, I was like, it's not necessarily that right now we need what actions to take, which I do think like there is room for that, and there's going to be I plan to do some trainings and stuff more on like what actions we can start taking to kind of get our businesses up and running again if they haven't been for a while. But I also think that we can't take action until we can get out of our heads. And right now, I think a lot of us are really stuck with mindset and how do we move forward? We had gone through this period where there was so much momentum with Zaya and with our businesses. And then the world has just been really interesting and changing, and nothing has been the same for the last 2 years. And so, along that path, a lot of us have just gotten stuck. Like, I know for myself, I got into analysis paralysis, and I'm like, I cannot move because I don't know what to do. I'm just like, I can't move. I don't know what to do. I had all these stories in my head about, direct sales and my business and myself and Zaya, and like had all the stories. And when you have those stories running through your head, it starts to make you feel discouraged, you lose confidence, and then you stop taking action. And so that's really what happened for me. I took some time and I listened finally. Some people have asked me, like, what helped you kind of flip a switch? I'm like, well, instead of thinking so much and being in that analysis paralysis, I just stopped thinking and I started listening. And so I really started listening to the other reps who are in similar positions as me, right? Same ranks as me. Reps who are hopping on trainings or like I'm in chats with, just really started listening. I really started realizing that all these stories I have in my head, everybody else has them too. Everybody has the same crap going on right now. And it's really a matter of all of us just overcoming that mindset, that stuckness. Then when we start to feel like, okay, I'm getting somewhere, I don't feel like I'm stuck in my head all the time, that's when we can really start taking action with belief. And when you take action with belief, that's when things move forward. So I wanted to go through, as you guys know, I am a certified life coach through the Push Coach School certification program. So what, I don't know if Amber, you've been on any of my calls where I've talked about the structure of the push method, but I'm going to talk to you guys about the push method and kind of how it has really helped me to move past the old thinking processes and incorporate some new ones. So where is my share screen here? And this is something that I will include this with the recording, and it's actually, I'll try to make it as a PDF. So if you guys want to write on it or anything like that, like go through these exercises, I think it will really, really help with just overcoming those stories in your head. So, okay, the push method, you guys. We are going to talk about head voice versus heart voice. And even if you've heard this before, I want you to really listen, because like I said, when I stopped thinking and started listening is when I started to gain clarity, okay? So, head voice, right? It's all the stuff that's up here. Your head voice is pointing to the past. You guys, I always think of Rafiki in Lion King when he's like, it doesn't matter, it's in the past. You know what he says that? I always think of that. He's like, it doesn't matter, it's in the past. Or when Phoebe on Friends says, she goes, you can't be mad about the past. Is anybody mad about the Louisiana Purchase? And then I think it's Chandler goes, or Rachel goes, Phoebe, I don't think anybody's mad about that. She's like, that's right, because it's in the past, right? Things in the past, our brain wants to hold on to them because it wants to hold on to evidence for the future. But the reality is that the past doesn't define us. The past is the past. Like literally, what I did 10 minutes ago, putting my groceries away, has nothing to do with the future, right? I mean, I guess my chicken won't go bad, but like the past will not determine your future. You will determine the future. So your head voice is going to constantly be pointing at like, maybe what's happened in your business, or what's been happening in the world, or what's going on with social media. It's going to start to bring forward thoughts that are fear-based, full of doubt, weakness, failure, judgment, shame, and it's rooted in scarcity. Your brain is it's like looking for reasons to protect you. It is that fight or flight that is inborn in us that says, my job is to keep you safe. And so I'm going to look for all of these things that could, that could allow you to emotionally put yourself out there. Your brain's like, no, you're not going to do that. Because what if you emotionally put yourself out there and something happens, right? Like your brain is seeing this as a survival situation. And it's not, you guys. Like if you make a post on social media and nobody likes it, you're not going to die, right? So we have to retrain our brain to start looking inward and listening to the heart voice, right? Our heart voice is pointing to the future. It is rooted in faith, hope, strength, purpose, potential, and love, and it's rooted in abundance. So it has this mindset of like belief, and you attract things to you because you have this abundant mindset. I swear, like there is this shift that happens in your energy when you start looking at the heart voice versus the head voice. So this is the part where I meant like I will make this into a PDF. So if you want to print this out and write on it, you can. If you want to get like a notebook or a journal out, you can. But going through this process for either one story that's in your head or all the stories that are in your head, because if you're like me, there's way more than one story that's going on up here, right? You're telling yourself more than one thing that might be keeping you from taking action in your business. And so if we can identify that, we can address it. And that is the most important thing. So our head voice, you guys, the facts, the first thing you got to look at are the facts. So right now we're going to go through just like what I have experienced myself, or or what I've been hearing from reps. But to be honest, every single story that I have heard from reps, every single story I've read in the intake form so far, the mid-year reviews, every single one, you guys, I have had those. Like in the last 6 months, I have had every single one of these stories, okay? So it's just insane, you guys. We are all on the same page. Okay, facts, you guys. So some examples that I came up with, and if you think of more, just drop them in the chat. But the first thing we have to do is identify the facts, okay? The facts are not going to change. Whether we are looking at it from our head or our heart, the facts stay the same. So like, for example, facts could be business is down, okay? That's a fact, right? Maybe your personal business is down, the organization's business is down, Zaya's business is down. You guys, it is not the same as it was in 2020. However, it is still like really, really good if you listen to Zach, by the way. But just so you know, you guys, that's a fact. Like business is down. We can't change that. Like we can't like tweak those words to make it different. Like that's the reality. Numbers are down. Another one could be like, it's summer. Yeah, that's a fact. It's summer. And so some of the stories that come out of that are like, I don't have time to work my business, or people aren't on social media, right? So you see how we're going to come up with some stories. Another fact could be like things open back up. I go to work, maybe you're one of those people who was home during the pandemic and now you're going to work outside of the home. That could be something that's a fact for you, right? I'm not at home all day, every day. I leave my home to go to another job now. That could be something that is a fact. So we look at the facts and then we address the story. So These are some of the head stories that have come out of even just my brain and people I've talked to based on, let's say business is down. We'll use that as our fact, okay? Business is down. Story, okay? Possible stories in your heads. People are burned out on Facebook. People are burned out on parties. People are burned out on social media in general. People are burned out on social media or on direct sales, right? Zaya's saturated. There's too many reps in my area. I can't build my business because I don't have time. I don't have the time I used to anymore. People aren't spending money right now. I'm too busy in the summer to work my business. I'm just going to wait till fall. My body isn't where it should be to share the clothes. Social media keeps changing and I can't keep up with it, right? Like these are all the stories, and I'm sure there are more. If you have more and I didn't talk about it, put it in the chat. But you guys, there are all these stories going on in our heads. And so let's take, for example, let's see. Let's do the one where it's people are burned out on Facebook parties. Okay, people don't want to do Facebook parties. That's a story that you're telling yourself. That's not a fact, because is every single person in the world telling you, I don't want to do a Facebook party? No. It's just maybe the vibe you've gotten, or maybe you've heard it from somebody else and then you made that your truth, right? It's not true. It's not true. You can still run Facebook parties if that's your jam, if that's what you want to do, and if you have people who are wanting to do it for you, do it, you guys. We know how powerful those parties can be. But just because somebody says no one time doesn't mean that, Facebook parties are dead. So see how that's a story, right? Okay, so let's say the story is people don't want to, when I say people are burned out on Facebook parties, how does that make you feel, right? So now we got to tap into a feeling. And so like for me, I would probably say like discouraged, right? Or frustrated. Like, oh, I'm so frustrated, or lost, because now I'm like, I don't know what to do next, because, in my head, the facts are that business is down. The story I'm telling myself is that nobody wants to do a Facebook party. So I'm feeling discouraged. I'm losing confidence. And when I feel that way, I'm going to act a certain way. If I'm losing that confidence, I'm not going to take action at all, right? Chances are we're going to like come in, like contract, right? We're going to contract. We're going to back up. We're not going to go out and try to find a hostess who wants to do a Facebook party with us, because we have this story that nobody wants to do it. And when we think nobody wants to do it, we feel discouraged, we lose confidence, and then we just are like, we don't want to go through that loop again, right? Like, I don't want to keep getting rejected. I don't want to keep losing that confidence. So I'm just not going to act, just not going to do anything. What does that manifest for your business? It manifests no sales or low sales. It manifests not having anybody in your pipeline for the rep opportunity. And so as a result, your business is going to go down, right? So look at how the fact business is down, the story, Facebook parties are dead, people are burnt out on Facebook parties. It creates this chain reaction of all of a sudden, I feel discouraged, I don't want to take action, and now my business is suffering, right? So let's take a look at the heart voice and see if we can come up with a different result if we change the story, okay? So the facts, again, we're going to keep it as business is down. Instead of the story that says people don't want to do Facebook parties, what if we changed it to something like my people that I've talked to don't want to do Facebook parties, but I can find people who do want to? Or what if we say, yeah, I don't really want to do Facebook parties either, but I know I can do other methods to get the product into people's hands. Or I'm going to run a different kind of party or a different kind of event to get people to experience Zaya. See how that story, it just feels more empowering, right? It feels more abundant. It feels more like, I'm going to solve this problem. You watch me, right? It just has a different energy behind it. So let's say the story is like, this was something for me. So my story was, I'm going to find a new way to party. Like, that's what I said. I'm going to find a new way to do it. And so that made me feel empowered, encouraged, excited. And when I'm feeling those ways, I'm like, yeah, let's freaking do this. I'm inspired, I'm empowered. I am going to go out there and I'm going to find my people who want to do this new way of partying with me. So my actions that I started taking, because I felt good and I felt like I got this, the action I started taking was I started talking about it on my stories. I started inviting people to host stories pop-ups, right? I just started putting it out there with this energy of like, I'm here and this is what I'm going to do now. And if you want to do this with me, like, let's go, right? Like, I'll do a party for you. You share my stories. Let's go have some fun. And that's another training for another day. Maybe I'll pop in and do a live on that later this afternoon if I have time, or on Friday. I have childcare, so maybe on Friday I can talk about it. But you know, it's encouraging me to take different actions because I'm coming from a place of the heart voice, the empowered voice, right? So what is it manifesting? It is manifesting for me more sales. It is manifesting for me actually more leads, because I have people who follow my stories and they have never seen even what I do in my VIP group, right? They don't even know. They're like, I don't want to be in a Facebook group, but they don't know what the product reviews are like. They don't know really anything about me or Zaya, right? But now that I've started sharing Zaya openly, doing product reviews on my stories, now I'm starting to get more people who are talking to me. And business is starting to build back up in momentum. I'm starting to feel that shift in my business, all because I changed the story, right? Facts, business is down. One story said, Facebook parties are dead. I don't know what to do. I don't want to, nobody wants to do Facebook parties. The other story, facts the same, business is down. Story that I said, I'm going to find another way to party. I'm going to do this a different way. And so now you can see how, depending on what your story is, you are completely getting different results. You're feeling different, your business is different, you're taking different actions, and all of a sudden that momentum starts building again. So that's why it is so important that we are asking ourselves empowering questions. I made a promise to myself. I'm like, if there's ever anything that comes up that I say, I don't know how to do this, like, for example, I'm like, I don't know how to get things back up and running, you guys. I don't know. I don't know how to light a fire under the team. I don't know how to help every single individual on this team. I don't know how to do it, you guys. I don't know how to lead. I don't know how to lead in a situation like this. But I promised myself that if I said, I don't know how to do this, I was going to follow up with, but I will figure it out. Because I will figure it out is empowering. And it tells myself, it reminds myself that, you know what? I can figure anything out. And the only action that I can take that would mean I'm not figuring it out is sitting still. I can take, what's the saying? It's like, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, right? That's where I live, you guys. Like, just start doing and just see how it goes. When I did my first stories party, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. People have asked me, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like learning as I go. I'm now on like my 5th or 6th one, and they're all different. And it really depends on my hostess. And I'm just going with it, right? Like, just whatever, who cares? We'll just try it and figure it out. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something different next time. So, what I like to do is I like to try to come up with an affirmation based on my heart voice. Because as we're going through this, right, like, we have had some stories in our head since we were young, you guys. I mean, the things that go on in our brain are not just because, like, 2 months ago, like, my business was down. I mean, that's probably there's probably a deeper story from when you were young, right? I have a story, you guys. You know, one of my deep-rooted stories is that I'm trying to get over is, like, it sounds so dumb, but this is definitely my story, is that I am an A- kid. Like, I'm an A-. I got A's, but I was not like the A+ kid. You know what I mean? Like I was always like on my basketball team, I was second best, right? We had an all-state player on our team. She was amazing. I loved playing with her, but I was never the best. I was like the second best. Or like same with my volleyball team, right? Like we had a really good middle hitter and I was her setter, and that's great. But like I was never like the best. I was good, but I wasn't the best. So I have this story in my head, you guys, that like I'm not the best. I'm not going to be the best. And that's something that I work through all the time. And so that's what I'm saying is like these stories, whatever you got going on in your head, it's not going to be just from like what happened yesterday. Like there are going to be some deep seated stories in there that we have to change. And in order to change it, we have to affirm it day in and day out. That's why writing your own affirmation using your heart voice is going to be crucial, and writing it down every day, put it on your mirror, say it to yourself frequently, because that is how we start to change the thought process. It might feel weird at first, but the more that we do it, the more we can internalize that message, and then we'll become that person, right? We'll become the person that we want to be. So for example, let's use our heart voice example from just now. So the heart voice said, the story is, I'm gonna find a new way to party, right? So I'm gonna find a new way to party because I want my business to gain more momentum. So for me, my affirmation is, because I want to rebuild momentum in my business, I will find hostesses who want to party with me a new way. So, right, write it down. Keep it on my desk. Read it when I sit down to work. Like, make an affirmation for yourself so that when you sit down at your desk to do work, you have it right there and you can internalize that and you can show up for your business from the heart. You're showing up with abundance, purpose, love, hope, and you're not sitting there saying, oh, I just have to dig myself out of this hole. We were doing so good and now I'm not doing very good. And you know what I mean? That's totally different energy. But when you show up with the heart voice, oh, that energy, you guys, it will take you places. So, like I said, I'll print this out or I'll send it to you guys in a PDF. And then you can write down what actions you're going to take. Like, what are you going to do right now? Change your story. What actions are you going to take to make sure that you are manifesting in your business what you want from your business? Because it all boils down to the actions, right? We change the story, we change the feeling, change the action, we change the outcome. So make an action list and start moving. Okay. What questions do you guys have? Kind of went off on a tangent. I do that sometimes. Sorry, you guys. How do I not share my screen again? Oh, down here. Okay. Do you guys have questions? Look at, I kept it at like 20 minutes. That was really good, right? Stop share. Comments, questions, concerns, anything you need help with right now?
No, you're right. I totally agree with everybody being like, you're right how you say stuff that happened to you a long time ago, like the team stuff. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't do that because I couldn't do this. And so yeah, it feels good to hear other people, right? Because we all just think, oh, it's just me. It's not anybody else. It's just me that feels this way. So
yes, exactly. And like I said, that's how I started getting back in my business, because I realized, oh, it's not just me. It's not just me who's like volumes down, or, you know, people fall off the face of the earth, or I can't find a hostess. Like, oh, it's not me. It's like, we're in this together, right? We're a team.
yeah, I would be interested in you doing a little bit more about your story pop-ups, because I've noticed that like how much you do, because I only see like a couple here and there and I think, oh, is that really all she's doing? Because it's only a couple of so I'd love to learn a little bit more about that, because I've noticed that a lot of people are watching my stories when I do post them. I just need to do that more consistently every day, like just that way people are tuning into it. So
Yeah. I will do a training about it either today, or probably today. I'll try to do it. It's like I don't want to go into it in too much detail on this call, but I do think that I'm starting it has gone well. I will say it has gone well, and I feel like I'm attracting people who want to do it with me. You know what I mean? Like the girl I'm doing it for this week, she used to like one of her best friends is a rep, and she bought from me when I first became a rep. She bought like a pair of leggings, and then she has always just tried to get stuff with her best friend, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I never get anything that I want with her. I always have to return it. She's like, can I do this pop up with you though? I'm like, well, don't you feel like you should go with your friend? She's like, no. Okay, well, all right, we'll do it, I guess. So yeah, it's attracting new people in. It's cool. It's really fun.
Along those lines, and I can't figure out how to get my screen on, so hopefully you can hear me talking because I may or may not be driving. Question about that. So I feel like the reps in my area have dropped like crazy. Like I've been trying to figure out a way to post about, like, I know Blair has been doing the bags and I have several sizes of like light and tights and stuff. So I thought about doing one of those bags, but I don't know how to be like, if you don't have a rep anymore, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I actually think you don't even have to say anything like that, you know? I think if you just start showing up and saying you have these things available and you know that you're there and you're working, then people start coming to you. Because I know for me too, actually, my Saint rep or whatever, she like fell off the face of the earth. And then I had this other, like, which I'm loyal to my reps, right? Like I'm loyal to my consultants, but she fell off the face of the earth and the girl went and messaged me back. So like I had a friend who signed up and I'm like, oh my gosh, are you selling Saint? Like I need a rep right now. And it's not like she came to me and said, hey, if your person fell off the face of the earth, come message me. So it's just because she started showing up and I'm like, I need somebody who's showing up. Like I need somebody who can help me because I just want my makeup, right? And so I'm finding that too, is that I've had people come to me and they're saying like, oh, I was referred to you because my rep doesn't work anymore. Or, you know, like because they see me showing up every day on my stories and talking about Zaya, they're like, you know, they're coming in and I'm like, I know they had a different rep, but I also know that their rep hasn't posted about Zaya for like a year. So yeah, I think just showing up sends the message that I'm here. And if their rep isn't, then they're gonna come find you. That's what I think. Yeah. That's
Thank you.
Question, though. Yes, I think. What?
I said sorry again. My face is not here, but
I would love to see your face sometime. And Jordan and Christine, if you want to come to Summit, let's go. Okay, there's my little plug for Summit. Not little, as I'm banging on my desk, but yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, maybe I'll just hop over to Facebook and do that now quick, the stories.
Not a question, but thank you for doing the calls again, because I really appreciate these. I feel like I'm not as great about listening to lives, but I make team calls more of a want to listen to thing. So thank you.
Okay, good. That's good to know too, because sometimes people are like, I'll just listen to the live and other people prefer the call. So I'm like, I don't know. Let's mix it up. Should I do it? Hold on. Let me stop.
I like team calls too. Most of the time I have to watch them on replay because usually I'm working, but I know that's hard to be like, okay, half people like